What's up? What's up, guys? So this is gonna be part two of the PlayStation 2 collection. Now I haven't got many games left now. But please, before you watch this one, do check out part one that I did yesterday. It's got most of the games in there. So yeah. Okay, let's start. We got Smackdown vs Raw 2006. Now this was released late 2005. Um, it's a pretty good game, but from this point on, we kind of got the image of what Smackdown vs Raw was going to signify and what it was going to be like. And something that I never liked from the start was the gameplay. I just never got the feel of it. Smackdown, Here Comes the Pain. A lot say it's their favourite. For me, it's one of my favourites. It's not my favourite. I don't really think I would have a favourite. It's one of my favourites. I'll say that for sure. But it's not really one that I consider to be the biggest. And but I did love the story mode in this, and I really do wish they can bring it back in WWE 13 or something. It's really a a a, a real requested thing that we want in a brand new game, but they never do it. So hopefully they'll be able to do it soon. Next up, Smackdown Shut Your Mouth. Now this for me was probably the one I played the most and the one I liked the most. Now I'm not saying it's the best, and I'm not saying it's the one I liked the most, but it's probably the one that I connected with the most. It's a really good game, and released in 2002, also based in 2002. It was based on the year 2002, and it's a very good game, just like Here Comes the Pain, but 1 year older. Um, and yeah, it's of course the prequel to Here Comes the Pain. So yeah, Smackdown Just Bring It, the first Smackdown game in the series or in the franchise to be on the PS2. At the time, I'd say the graphics were decent. It wasn't really a major change from PS1. I mean, you can notice a change, but it wasn't really something that big. So yeah, this was the first Smackdown game on the PS2, and it's very fun, very fast paced, and it just brings all that arcadey gameplay back. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, to this day, still the best Grand Theft Auto around. And also to this day, the Grand Theft Auto that probably costs the most amount of money, unless you're buying episodes from Liberty City on PS3 or Xbox. But this is a game that everyone wanted to get their hands on when it was first released. I was lucky enough to get this, let's say, November. Well, I got it in November, but it was like a Christmas present, so I had to wait a whole freaking month knowing that I had the game, but I couldn't play it till Christmas. And this was, back in 2004, so it was a very exciting year for me then, and yeah, it's definitely the best Grand Theft Auto to this day until probably Grand Theft Auto 5. Let's just hope that, they really listened to the fans and gave us what we want. So yeah. Next up, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. This to me is my favourite Grand Theft Auto. Not San Andreas. San Andreas was the best, but it wasn't my favourite. For the setting wise, Vice City is all me. I love the whole setting in Vice City. Of course, Vice City is based on Miami. We all know that. And San Andreas is based on Los Angeles, and Liberty City is of course based on New York. But Vice City for me was my favourite, and I really do hope they bring the series back to Vice City in some later installment. But for Vice City for me was definitely my favourite, and Tommy Vercetti was definitely my favourite character, played by voiced by Ray Liotta, very good actor. Next, Smackdown vs Raw 2007. To me, this was probably the worst Smackdown vs Raw in the series. I don't know why, but for some reason at that time when the game was based, it was also not a good time for WWE. It was a pretty boring, bland shit time, and the game just didn't make it any better. So this was probably my least favorited SmackDown vs Raw game, and probably the one I played the least of. But you know, it's a game I can go back to. Grand Theft Auto 3, the first Grand Theft Auto to be on the PS2, also the first Grand Theft Auto to be in 3D because, well, when I mean 3D, I mean three-dimensional polygons. Like, because if you remember from the first game, you can only see from a bird's eye view. Like for example, you could only see from that view, and all you saw was like a little dot down here, and that was your character. But at the time, it was a really good game. But try playing it now, I don't think you'll have as much fun with it. Next, Tekken 5. Now, of course, it doesn't have a cover, but as you can see, the disc is inside. To me, this was the best Tekken. I haven't played Tekken 6 yet, so I wouldn't know what it's like, but this was definitely my favourite Tekken. I'm just going to rush this video for a little, for the last couple of games because I think I'm running out of camera space. From Russia with Love, brilliant. My favourite James Bond game that I've played, apart from one, but I can't remember what it was called. It was, I think it was called Night Fight. No, I really can't remember. It was on PS1. I had it on PS1, and it starred the Pierce Brosnan 007. So I don't know which one that was for PS1, but it was definitely my favourite. So correction, this is my second favourite, starring Sean Connery, the legendary man himself. Fight Club, based on the movie Fight Club, which I coincidentally have never seen before, only like glimpses and little clips from it. The game's alright. It's kind of Tekken style based, but you know, Tekken's much better. Another game with no cover, but if you can read it here, Soul Calibur 2. I'm going to show you the inside. There we go. Just like Tekken, but it's not really my favourite fighting game. The Incredibles, got this for my birthday. Had some fun with it, but this was like what, 5-6 years ago. So yeah, times have changed. Full Spectrum Warrior, never a big fan of this. I was never ever a big fan of this, and I believe this was made by, you know, the SOCOM people. This is like SOCOM, and I don't like it at all. Oh, if you're wondering, if you watched my last PS2 collection video, part 1, I already showed you this. This is just a spare box. Getaway Back Monday, if many of you know this, it's basically Grand Theft Auto in London. That's pretty much how I can sum it up, and it was very good, really fun. First Getaway, pretty much the same thing, really fun game, just like Grand Theft Auto. And last but not least, the original Smackdown vs Raw, the one that started it all, based in 2004, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good, and it was really a good way to start off this massive franchise that ended up making, was it 9? No, can't even remember. Yeah, it ended up making a lot of Smackdown vs Raw games. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I've pretty much showed you all my collection. Please do try and look at part 1 because you know, it will make more sense. But you can start off by watching this one and then go on to part 1. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's pretty much all my PS2 collection, PS2 games. So I hope you enjoyed. See you guys.